Hey everybody, it's Walking Man Walks back in the Philippines again. I just got back about a week ago, here for the season again, getting back into the groove, used to the hot, humid weather again. I just got out of Denver. As I was leaving, we were getting a major blizzard there last Friday, I think it was, or Thursday. I found out they got about 40 inches after I took off, which I just got out of there in time. I mean, I love the snow, I love skiing, but traveling and snow do not mix. Anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know I was back in the Philippines. I'll be pumping out a few videos a week, so go ahead and like and follow and comment on my videos. So let's get into today's subject, which is the election. So right before I left, Trump got elected president again. I'm not really sure what that means for the United States. I know many of my fellow Americans voted for him. I didn't, as it so happens. I mean, I know a lot of people like Donald Trump and what he stands for, and he's anti-establishment and everything. I don't agree with that. I think he is establishment. He's a billionaire. He has no clue what the American people need. He's never worked a day in his life, never wanted for anything in his life. I am not a fan of rich kids, people who grow up never having to work. I don't think that they really, when you're born on third base, it's not really a big accomplishment to get to home base, right? I was born in the negative. I was born to a mother of 5 kids with no father. My father took off shortly after my little brother was born. When he was 1, I was 2, and my sister was 3, and left my mom with us. So as soon as I could start working, when I was a teenager, I started working and paying rent. And I always tell people, people that I know well, that I was born in the negative, not in the positive. I was born already owing money to the system. And that's the way it works in the US. If you're not born with money, everything from there on out is work, 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 and never get ahead. So I had to work to buy my first car because where I grew up, not have a car. I mean, I first got a moped when I was 15 to drive back and forth to Taco Bell so I could make, whatever I was making at the time, $6 an hour. This was the mid 1980s. $6 an hour, saved up, got a car. Then when I went into college, and I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you shouldn't have went to college, you just went to a trade. Maybe so, but back then everybody said, oh, you should go to college, get your degree. And I don't really regret college. I wouldn't have my government job if it wasn't for college. Not that you need a degree to do my job in the government, but you do need a degree to get the job. It's changing a little now, but most government jobs, just to apply for them, you have to have a 4-year college degree, which is stupid. I know a friend of mine a couple of years ago, actually an American guy I met here in the Philippines, his son wanted to work with me as a ranger, and I was trying to get him in the door. And he was like a master craftsman. He worked he's only 21 or 22 years old now, but from high school on, he worked at a machine shop and mastered how to machine things. That didn't help me be able to get him a position where I work. I mean, all I was really trying to do was get him a seasonal position, which is just, a 6-month position in the summer season to work as a seasonal ranger. Even that is difficult to get without a college degree, which to me is ridiculous. I mean, these are some of the reasons that a guy like Trump could take hold of the American people and get them all to vote for him. I mean, he talks, with a 3rd grade, I think, education level, and people like that. They could relate to that. I'm not saying all Americans are stupid and talk with a 3rd grade education level, but they're tired of like the Joe Bidens and Bill Clinton and the Ronald Reagan and these people who are so polished and, everything's fake. Kamala Harris, I mean, even though she worked her way up and everything, she is, she's a polished politician. And these neocons, I'm a progressive, but I was a Bernie guy in 2016. I still think Bernie Sanders, if he were to run and actually get through the primary, he could win. The problem is getting through the primary. The Democratic establishment all piled on him in 2016 to make sure he didn't get through the primary. And the Republicans don't want him to get through the primary either, because the donors, the big donors, are the ones who run the show. So the billionaires, the Elon Musks, the big bankers and all those people, they're the donors. They're the ones who really run the show. I mean, and that was the appeal to Trump for a lot of people. He's a billionaire. He doesn't need other people's money to run. He doesn't need donor money. Although a lot of Americans didn't really, research this, he still takes tons of donor money. Whether it's from small donors or big donors, corporate donors, he takes money wherever he can get it because he's a grifter. I mean, I wish Americans would realize that, but I guess 51% or whatever the percentage turns out to be, he won the popular vote this time, which nobody could have predicted. I mean, except for MAGA and his sycophants and people who love him. Anyway, the American election's over, and the only reason I'm talking about it is because I'm wondering if this is the time to retire. I can retire early. I'll get a small pension for my work. It'll be 5 or 6 years before I'm able to get Social Security, if it's even still there in 5 or 6 years. But, I could work online. I do have a college degree, and I have been a teacher in the past, so I can teach online. It's not my ideal thing. I love my job in the U.S., but, I have my Filipina fiance here, and the 6 or 7 months that I'm back in the U.S., it's about 7 months, actually, a little more. It's really hard to have a long distance relationship. I'm sure anybody out there who's had a long distance relationship knows that having a long distance relationship is much harder than having a, relationship where you live together. Like her and I, it's a lot easier for us now when we're together. I mean, a lot of it's her. She has real trust issues with, if you come to the Philippines and you date a Filipina, you'll realize that, trust issues are a problem. And it's understandable, they don't know what goes on in the U.S. Like when I'm back in the U.S., she doesn't know it even though I tell her I'm faithful to her and I'm not running around with the girls. Sometimes it's hard for her to believe. So trust issues is a big thing. If you're going to come out here and date a Filipina, they definitely have trust issues. Not that it's unwarranted. I could see, why they would have trust issues. Obviously, you're 8,000 miles away for half the year. I don't have the same trust issues, but, I've been in many relationships. I'm much older than her. We have a big age gap relationship. I'm much older than her, and I have more confidence in myself, and I just, I trust her. And I know a lot of guys are going to say you're crazy for trusting a Filipina, but my Filipina is a province girl. It's not like a city girl. I think everybody who's watched my videos for a long time knows my past dating in the Philippines and how I did get cheated on by my first girlfriend, first relationship in the Philippines. I don't think she came into that relationship wanting to cheat on me, but when we were separated, it was just like now, we were separated for several months. It's very tempting to cheat, basically, especially, when you haven't had a ton of relationship experience, and, there's so many temptations out there. And one thing about her, my first relationship, she drank and stuff, and everybody, I'm sure all you guys who are watching now know that drinking is like kind of the devil when it comes to cheating. You go out, you drink, of course, you're at a place. When you're drinking, it's normally not just you and your male friends or you and your girlfriends. It's a mix. And, people use drinking as an excuse to cheat, but people also use drinking as a way to tempt people into bed and everything. And I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. You already know that. But so, yeah, my current fiance, she doesn't drink, which I love. I don't drink. I never have been a big drinker, but I enjoy a little marijuana every now and then. I live in Colorado. It's legal. But here in the Philippines, I don't touch it. It's illegal, and I'm not going to do anything that's going to get me thrown in jail here in the Philippines. So I I don't touch the marijuana. I don't drink when I'm here either, but it's fine. I don't need to alter my state of mind. I'm stable and confident enough in myself. I don't have to, have drugs to feel better or anything like that. The question is I have for you guys, is it time to become an expat? Go ahead and comment on that, what you think about that. One of the things about now becoming an expat is, believe it or not, with Donald Trump in power, it might be better to be an expat. And here's why. So right now, tax-wise, if you make money outside the United States, if you keep your passport, you still have to pay US taxes, right? So if I work for a company in Thailand, say as a teacher, I still have to pay taxes in the US. Now there is, I think it's $126,000 before you can make $126,000 outside the US before you have to pay any US taxes, which is awesome. But Trump promised to stop taxing Social Security. So if he does that, of course, that's great for expats, because a lot of expats I know, and probably a lot of you guys watching this channel, are on Social Security or close to getting Social Security. And if you don't have to pay taxes on it, that's, more money in your pocket, obviously. Social Security is not a lot of money. I look at you could go on socialsecurity.com and look at how much you're going to get. I think it's called My SSI. You could see how much you're going to get each month when you retire, or an approximation of that. And for me, it's about $2,000 a month, which here in the Philippines, I could live on that great. Like I said, I'm still 5, 6, 7 years away from, it's about 6 years now away from Social Security. But I do get a pension from my government job, but I've only been at my government job for 10 years, and I'm career seasonal, so it accumulates different. But, that is, I think I looked at that too. It would be about $400 a month, which you cannot live off in the Philippines. I don't care how many guys are out there saying, I had a guy send me a message saying if I stop being a simp and taking care of my girlfriend, I could live on $500 a month, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. First of all, I'm not a simp. Taking care of your girlfriend is not being a simp. It's being a good boyfriend, right? She works. I don't fully take care of her, but just the salaries are so low here. She needs my assistance with some stuff, especially when I'm here. I don't want to live in a place, a dump. So, I pay for our rent and our food and all that. And I don't mind doing that. It would cost me more to live in Colorado in the winter by myself, much more than taking care of me and her here in the Philippines in the winter. So another part of Trump, as everybody who follows politics knows, is like his big plan is to tariff all goods going into the US, right? So anything coming into the US that you buy this is food, electronics, anything coming from China, which, a lot of Americans buy electronics from China, is going to be taxed at 60%, which is going to make it so Americans aren't going to buy anything from China, because that's just going to, if it was $100 today, it's going to be $160. So you're going to be able to buy the same product in America. Like I bought, this last year, I bought a Shang Milo e-bike that I used to commute back and forth from work for $1,300. So that would be, that would go up $750. So it would be over $2,000. So for over $2,000, I could get the tax credits and stuff that you get in Colorado for buying an e-bike from a Colorado manufacturer, which, are double or triple the cost of an e-bike from China. So nobody's going to buy any more e-bikes from China. You might as well just buy it there in Colorado, where you could get it like the day you buy it, instead of having to wait a month for it to come in the mail from China. So that's another thing. It might be worth being an expat, because you're like in the Philippines, if I order something from China, I don't have to pay that 60%, obviously, because it comes straight to the Philippines. I still haven't figured out the whole tax situation. If you guys know more about it, go ahead and comment below. Let me know what you think. Anyway, I'm so glad to be back in the Philippines. Another season here. Go ahead and comment and give me any questions you have below. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm at 2,100 subscribers now, which is great. I never even thought I'd get to 1,000, but apparently some people like listening to me drone on about nonsense. But anyway, have a good day. Peace out, and I'll be coming out with another video soon.